Tomorrowland and Absolute share a vision of a more equal and diverse tomorrow, actively pursued through their co-created platform United We Dance and its Diversity and Inclusion Committee. This year, they have united to strengthen human connection and promote cross-cultural exchange globally to help combat loneliness. Welcome to the United We Dance podcast. My name is Camille Polly, and over the next 6 episodes, we'll invite you to get to know some of the many Tomorrowland artists on a more personal level. Get ready for candid discussions about human connections, personal stories, and inspirational chats.
I think he's just a very experienced DJ.
So, an entertainer, actually.
You knew somebody with his head like this here.
White, black hair. Ooh.
He's hot!
Chill, fun, and social.
Classic
Original.
and flawless.
The bomb for sure.
Hopefully we'll get some throwbacks from DJs playing his music today.
Best DJ ever!
It's always heartwarming to hear the people of tomorrow talk about their favorite artists, isn't it? Welcome to the studio, Laid Back Luke.
Hey, good to be here.
Fresh off our main stage.
Yeah, just now.
How was the Daybreak sessions?
Oh, it's amazing. I feel like it's a massaging of people that I do in the morning. Everyone wakes up real early, and I'm like, let me take care of you. Let me just massage you into the day. I know you guys will be jumping, but I'm just here to take you way back into time. And actually, house music, it's house music's 40th birthday this year, coinciding with Tomorrowland's 20th, right?
Yeah, it's a special 2 dates, basically.
Yeah.
Special 2 celebrations. You're playing on later on today as well. In what way do the 2 sets differ from one another?
Yeah, so I'm just
You're waving to the people of tomorrow outside of our studio.
This is
yeah.
human interconnection.
Yes.
Like he's throwing hearts, I'm throwing hearts back. This is it. I'm not feeling as lonely right now, so that's really great. My next set is from 7 till 8 p.m. and that just means I can go full out, all guns blazing. Very different than massaging you in. This will be like, let's get straight into it and let's try and squeeze the living, existing sweat you still have out of you. So let's see how that goes.
Yeah, because it is very warm today here at Tomorrowland. We all know that for artists, connecting with their fans is very important. You were just throwing hearts at a fan outside of the studio, but also that it's a challenge to do this when there are so many of them spread out throughout the world. How do you stay connected with your fans?
Oh, I love being connected with my followers. And I don't know if you follow me on my social media, but I've made it a mission of mine to respond to every single comment on my Instagram and on my TikTok on a daily, just because I really enjoy that interaction. And I think we're moving into a space where this human connection, especially in the age of AI, will be so much more important than what it previously was. Because what's more powerful than a genuine conversation, a handshake, or a hug? AI is not that far.
Do you think that your fans are a community or form a community?
Well, I came from a big community of followers of mine back in my Laid Back Luke forum days in the early 2000s. And already I had noticed that I love making a community, building a community, but also being in touch with that community. And after EDM took off and my career went crazy, I moved away from that a little bit, but I'm back. Like, I feel like there's a second coming right now, and I'm back interacting with people and just motivating a lot of people as well to either pursue a DJ producer career, but also on a mental health level. Hey, L's up. There we go.
We were talking a little bit earlier about the fact that you made it a mission to reply on every DM you get, every message you get. You reply on comments. How do you deal with negative feedback on social media and criticism?
Okay, well, we'll get straight into the gold of this conversation that I want to give you guys. So here it is. What you need to do, I'm just going to take a photo real quick. What you need to do is love on people. So I see love tomorrow. actually the real gold, the Charlie and Chocolate Fabric, the factory, the real gold is the love on people. So when I get hate sometimes, I'll respond in a very compassionate way because I feel that that person has had a bad day. Maybe they're out of money. Maybe, someone just kicked them in the nuts, and they see my post come up and they're like, you suck. And I'm like, okay, maybe I suck for you right now. So what is it, that sucks about it? And I often end up having conversations with haters and flip them completely over because I love on them. And how can you hate something that you love? And it's not a tactic. I genuinely would love for people to feel loved on a daily. Everyone deserves that. Even if you're having a bad day and you lash out, there's a reason. People are not inherently evil responding to you as haters. And that's the one thing I needed to understand.
Could I summarize it by saying it's seeing the human behind the comment? Because
Absolutely.
It's very anonymous if you do it online.
Yeah, but also for them to see the human behind the artist. I had someone hating on me this week saying, "Oh, your posts look like you have a big ego and it's all about yourself." And it's like, well, no, it's not, because I'm posting this for people to be aware of where I'm currently at. That's why I'm posting it, not to boast myself up or say anything special about me. And so then people understand.
Mm-hmm. If we wind it back in your career, you've been around for many years. In what way have mentors or role models played a part in your development? And how is it maybe different now than years ago?
A very big part. And I want to give a shout out to Gaston from Chocolate Puma, who's my biggest mentor in producing. And he basically picked me up as a teenager, 15 years old, fresh out of the gate, had no experience in producing whatsoever. And by him being so patient with me, guiding me through a couple of years process of making me a better producer than I was up until he could sign me and he could put my stuff out. And I was like, because I had bumped into a lot of other DJs and producers that were super arrogant. I remember introducing myself to a bunch of them and the treatment was so horrible. And the way Gaston treated me, I was like, when I make it big, I want to be that for the younger generation coming up. And yeah, so I did. And I'm still very much in touch with Gaston. He is still a massive inspiration to me when it comes to mental health, but also still producer tips and tricks. It's just, I can't really describe how much I adore a mentor like that. And for me, it also links back to my kung fu practice, because whenever you practice a martial art, you're always under your teacher. And it doesn't matter how good you become or anything. Your teacher is always your teacher, and he has been there when you were nothing. So shout out to my kung fu teacher as well, whom I bow to each and every time, and who still teaches me after over 25 years of kung fu training. Whenever I see him, I learn something new, and it's awesome.
That's amazing. Whether it's Gaston or if it's your kung fu teacher, have any of these role models ever unlocked your creativity when you were struggling creatively?
Always. And never really reached out that much. So a lot of my struggles, I kind of found out myself how to hack it and everything. But they're there for sure. Whenever I'm in need, I can just knock, ring, text, and they're there for me.
Mm-hmm. You explained how Chocolate Puma really took you under his wings and trained you and learned you to be the best artist, that you had in you, and that you wanted to pass it on and do that for a next generation. To what extent are you, being artists, brothers and sisters as artists, or are you competitors?
Yeah, that's such an ugly word, competitors, and it's
know,
crazy. And I want to give a anti-shout out to all the American artists that are watching right now, because you guys are cutthroat and you know it. This is very much a capitalism. Hey, American right here. That's a very capitalist type of mindset, which I have nothing against capitalism. It's just like, if you talk about humanity, And then when it becomes about the money, it can get really ugly. One of the biggest secrets that we Dutch DJs have is we always support each other. We might seem as competitors, but actually we are a small group of people that came up together. And so, yeah, we're there for each other. I just announced my show with Don Diablo, like his biggest show in New York, Brooklyn Mirage. And he invited me to play with him. Like, you would never see that in another scenario. And we've been friends for ages. So, yeah, that's the secret. We love each other as a community, as Dutch DJs.
Yeah, and you respect one another for
Yeah,
being
absolutely.
who he is.
Yeah.
In that community, what is the value of backstage areas like the one here at Tomorrowland for you? Because it's something that I've been hearing from other DJs. I talked to Sunnery, I talked to Armin, and they all said that it's something.
Well, I would encourage you to watch any Hardwell after movie from Tomorrowland, because you'll see it's a hug fest. Like, you'll see him hugging like literally everyone, and that is it's like that backstage, and you see each other. It's kind of like an annual event. You know you're going to bump into each other at the Tomorrowland backstage, and it's like where you reconnect again, catch up again, have some fun, and yeah, it's great. It's a really kind of like what you see in the crowd, that sense of unity you see backstage at Tomorrowland as well.
Do you have any inside stories, something that was sparked in the backstage of Tomorrowland and that took you on a trip somewhere you didn't know it was going to go?
No, but I have a funny story about meeting Lil Jon backstage at Tomorrowland last year, where, you know, Lil Jon, you know his reputation, you know his music, and it's like, oh, that's the guy. And obviously I had this track with him, Turbulence. We go way back. And I meet him, and we start talking. We start talking about our kids and our family life. And instead of him, you know, yelling, yeah, he has like a normal voice. And we were just like literally, and I walked away from that conversation. I was like, did I really have like the most wholesome family conversation with this rap dude? And it's amazing. I myself always seize the opportunity to actually ask fellow DJs, how are you doing? No, but how are you doing? Like, I don't want to hear how successful your latest release was. How are you doing? And it's nice. We sometimes get into some deeper conversations, and we just check in on each other as well.
It's again checking in with the human behind,
Yes.
you know, the clothes and the big tracks and the
Yeah.
stage performance. If we shifting our focus to another important aspect of human connections, the landscape of the club, festival, and rave scenes has seen significant changes in terms of diversity and inclusion. Historically, there was an overrepresentation of white men, but in the past few years, there has been a growing emphasis on a more inclusive landscape, with lineups that are more representative of different cultures and identities, which are, you know, enriching our music space and eventually representing better music lovers. Could you share your thoughts on this? And how you think this is helping to create more connections beyond differences?
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you straight away. We are on a massive shortage of female DJs and producers still. Whenever I see new talent, I would actually try and pick the younger females, browner, more black ethnicities, gay, it doesn't matter. Like, what I also want to say and want to lean into is that we need to realize that as dance music lovers, where this started was in the gay clubs, black gay men. And that is what our scene is based upon. And I want to give a shout out to the straight black men from techno as well. But people tend to forget. And then at a certain point, EDM took over, and, you know, there were a whole lot of white men being from ethnicity. Myself, half Filipino, half Dutch. I do think this is really important, just for the sheer diversity of it. It's not that I hate white people or anything. We just need to mix it up a little.
No, and I don't hate men, but it's true. It's true. You know, as a female, that you want to see yourself represented on the stage to be inspired and see, you know, maybe I could do this too.
Yeah.
It helps pave a way.
Now, there's a reason, obviously, right? I don't want to sound like all roze geur en maneschijn in Dutch, rose-colored and everything. It's a tough world, the music industry, and you get to deal with a lot of masculinity, and you fighting up against a lot of mansplaining and that sort of thing. And it takes a really hard and passionate female to cut through there. But I would encourage everyone to do so and to stick with it.
The past few years, there's more attention for diversity, also in music. Do the people of tomorrow see that as well?
Yeah, there's heaps of stages, which is great. And yeah, heaps of diversity with all different artists. It's amazing to see.
It's like all electronic music, but like a different type of vibe of electronic music, which I like.
You have the opportunity of experience different kind of music.
Artists definitely have the opportunity to express themselves.
Like all the different stages, all the different entities and music. It's a dream come true.
So there's something for everybody.
To what song, in your experience, does your fan base connect with the most?
Well, there's a couple of them, and so I'm happy I had a couple of big ones as well. We have Turbulence, which is actually in the American stadiums has become like the sports anthem. The New York Jets football team, the Jets, started playing Turbulence while they were coming out. And that's spread around the whole of the football scene in America, and now it's jumping over to basketball and that sort of thing. So Turbulence is a big one, but I'd posted on my TikTok a little video to see if people would know my remix of Winter Gordon's Dirty Talk, and that went viral like a week ago. All of a sudden, everyone came out of the woodworks and started vibing on that on my TikTok. Obviously, Steve Angelo and mine's rework of Show Me Love, which even this year made a resurgence. There's a tech house remix going on. Everyone's playing it out again. Of course, we have Leave the World Behind, which I made with the Swedish House Mafia. There's a bunch of them.
I'm getting goosebumps
Well,
thinking about the track.
Yeah. Well, there we go. So there's a bunch of them that are certified classics now, and I'm super thankful for that. It's
and you
crazy.
have a younger generation kind of reconnecting with them now. That's
Yeah.
something that I've been sensing in the last couple of years. We talked about it briefly, like you tour all around the world. You've seen, the best part of places of the world. When do you miss genuine connections the most?
I actually don't, because I do sometimes need to recharge back in the hotel room, because giving out a lot of energy to people, I need to recharge myself as well. It doesn't come for free, so to say. And then usually when I'm in the hotel room, I'm responding on my social media. And then when I'm out, I'm trying to show people like a loving artist, like someone who's very grateful to be there and that sort of thing. And so I don't. And furthermore, in this really connected world, I want to lean into being grateful of being able to be connected. I come from a time where there was no internet, for instance, and there was no way you could actually connect with people. Now you know what everyone is doing, where they're at, all the time. And within that, I would love for you to feel that you are not alone. Like all of these people that are doing these things, you can dive in there and communicate with them. It's okay. And they'll probably be nice to you as well.
You mentioned the recharge. You've been struggling throughout your career with burnouts. Is there a social element in the cause of these burnouts, being so connected with your fans that, you kind of, your bucket is empty?
Wow, that's a great question. No, it's not. Actually, when I look back, all of the pressure is my own. I'm a born workaholic, and I will work myself to the bone. And I remember at the tender age of 19 having like a big global track, which all the international DJs were supporting. And all of a sudden I was launched into my career, which was great, right? Fantastic. But then you get back to the studio and you're like, well, the whole world is watching. I need to make a follow-up. And I tried that, and literally I felt the whole world leaning on me in my studio, and I couldn't do it. And I tried for weeks, for months. I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating. I was just trying to nail that until I hit a wall. And at the tender age of 21, I had my first burnout. I couldn't do anything, needed to just lay in bed for 2 weeks. Then my second burnout came 10 years later, had to do with alcohol. Because at a certain point, I started drinking more and more, up to a point where I drank too much all the time. And I had my second burnout. And then my third burnout actually came from being a kung fu specialist, which is you can alter your life energy with certain kung fu exercises. And so I could accumulate a lot of energy and always give a lot of energy all day, every day, 7 days a week. And you know how that goes. I burnt out again at a certain point. And from there on, I started taking 1 day a week off. And I love saying this, like, if God needed 6 days to create the world, and on the seventh day, he needed rest, then surely I need a rest day as well. And that's been my saving grace. Just having like a lazy Sunday, doing absolutely nothing, just rotting in bed, to then be on fire on the Monday again. This is what currently keeps me going.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
We've received some questions from fans from all over the world, and we've invited some here in the studio. Welcome to Katie from Scotland, and welcome to Winston from Malaysia. We'll start off with Katie. You can ask your question.
Oh, hey. I got into house music in the early noughties as well, probably the late 90s. Lots of songs that I really, really connect with. But there's one or two songs that just dig me out of a hole, and they just sort of touch my heart. And I wondered what yours was. Just whatever artist or maybe something you listened to growing up, that just when you were in burnout, you know, when you weren't in a great place, it just brought you out of that hole.
Interesting. I do need to let you in on a little bit of a secret, because when you work in music, the whole receiving music and experiencing music becomes a totally different experience. Because, for instance, when I hear tracks, I literally hear them as if I'm in the studio. I hear the compression, the reverbs, the plugins, everything, the structure. So it's a different sensation. But there are a couple of tracks that resonate with me. For instance, Technotronic's Pump Up the Jam is when I knew and discovered that I wanted to be in dance music. Before that, I was into hip hop, and Technotronic brought me into dance music, and I was like, yeah, this is it. This is it for me. And it was Technotronic's Pump Up the Jam. I decided to start becoming a producer and make music. So that's number one. And when it comes to my energy in DJing, I'm a big fan of Thomas Bangalter, and Thomas Bangalter is one half of Daft Punk. He put out an EP on his own label, Roulette, Tracks on the Rocks, Volume 1, which I played all sides and all tracks of for a couple of years, and I would still even play it now. And that made such an impact on my early days sound as well. And for the rest, it's mostly like, you know, Air, All I Need, that sort of thing. Not even dance music related.
All right. Winston, you're up.
So basically, my question would be like, for someone who just starting, or they want to become like have a career in the DJ, like how should they like make use of like tools like AI, and then like as a, I would say, a starting point from there, and then slowly build out and become like someone who is like great at making music. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I love that you are asking this from an Asian type of perspective. Obviously, I'm half Asian, so that resonates with me. But my answer is actually for people around the world, because sometimes you grow up in a country and you think, oh, I have no opportunities. But there's no better time than today to have the world at your feet. And I've guided a couple of my talents who are from nowhere. Shout out Mosca from a little city out in Colombia, but also Angger Dimas from Indonesia, where it's like, it starts with the vision. It starts with the concept. It starts with, okay, say I hack this and I make music with AI. what do I have to offer? What do I stand for? And furthermore, in the very near future, what is the type of community that I will create and be involved in when I get big? So those are things to keep in mind. And I want you to know that everything is possible. Every choice you make will accumulate to your dream, and you can just stick to it. And so, yeah, it doesn't matter where you're from. Shout out to my Asians there. I would love for every Asian to succeed, but I would also want for every young talent that's watching this to have that vision and to just like make it to the top. Let's go.
Thank you, Luke.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Winston and Katie, for your questions and for being here today and for contributing to this podcast. Now, if we get back to one of the harder things when it comes to human connections, what do you do when connections are lost or when you face other kinds of mental challenges?
Yeah. Well, sometimes things go the way they go. And humans are complicated. Humans are messy. I am messy. I am chaotic, and I can be chaotic. I can be moody. I can not feel good on a day. And how do you deal with that? And then I just come back to loving on humans again. So whenever you've lost touch with someone, you want to reconnect, you can just go and ask them how they are. And oftentimes it's not what you can get from them. It's about what you can do for them, right? And so with that type of sense, you can always be that person that people can gravitate towards. But again, it's also okay to not feel okay. So if you don't have the energy, if you don't have that motivation, then as a community, I hope there's someone out there that you can talk to and connect with.
Mm. About that reconnection and about feeling anxious and kind of navigating that feeling, are there any tips and tricks that you could share that work for you whenever you have that feeling?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very simple. Can we do it together?
Yeah?
Yeah? Okay. So we're here at Tomorrowland. It's hot. There's a lot of things going on. We're right in the middle of the chaos. We're on a tight schedule. Okay, we're right in here. You ready? Okay, breathe in. Breathe out. Now focus on the breath going in. This is good energy. Breathe in. And let it go on the breath out. Let all the energy go. See there, we have some more chaos. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now this is your true self. This is where we're at. My Kung Fu teacher says we're a tiny little plant and a little tree in a forest that goes wild. But you know what? This forest can't touch us because when we focus and we breathe like that, we are that little tree and we are okay because breathing is free. It's amazing. And so you can always stop and give yourself like 15 seconds to just recenter like that. It's the easiest thing in the world. And there's plenty more like where you can generate energy using your breath through Kung Fu movements and that sort of thing. And it just brings you to your core self. Obviously, something like meditation is great, just sitting. But the essence there as well is just sitting and realizing that you're here. Everything's okay. Whenever you open your eyes, you are a little bit more recharged and you can take on the world again.
Mm. Talking about chaos is also talking about traveling. And you mentioned earlier in an interview that as soon as you started touring, way back when, suddenly you didn't have a home anymore and you found yourself living out of a suitcase, basically, and you hardly saw your friends and family anymore because you were on the road so much. Do you have any tips for young artists who get into the craziness, who are starting to live lives like this, to navigate, like how can you navigate through this and stick true to that true self?
Yeah. So the only thing I try and put out there is be prepared. Because I wasn't. So you're making your tracks in the studio, you have your comfy setup, you have your family here, you're making music every day, and it's like, okay, great. So you pump out a couple of tracks and some hit big, and then all of a sudden you're traveling like a maniac, and you're not in your comfy zone, you don't have time to make music, and then all of a sudden you need to produce in an airplane or at a hotel, and there's deadlines, and there's drinking, and you try and cope with all of that. It is chaos, for sure. And so I'll try and prepare people like, I don't care. Maybe, you know, as a trial, go and make a track on a bus, or, you know, try and set your alarm for 3 hours and then go make a track, because DJs only sleep about 4 hours on average on tour. To get to be prepared for that. And there are a couple of hacks that I used where, for instance, in an airplane, I have my seat that I want to sit in. I will always want to sit at the window because then I can lay my head like this and sleep on the plane, for instance. Whenever I'm in a car, I always have a specific seat at the window, and it's those kind of pockets that I have that make it like a comfy zone everywhere. In a hotel bed, I'll always go and lay on the left side and put my things on the left side. So for me to make it feel like a little bit more homey. And there's hacks like that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for joining us, Laidback Luke, and thank you guys for listening. Please stay connected and visit our website, unitedwedance.tomorrowland.com, to listen to more podcasts and read more about our United We Dance program. Till next time.